in dating, you succeed by failing every single time, except when you get married. You are
Oh,
literally supposed to get it wrong every time.
that is so, I have never thought of it that way. Hello and welcome to MOMCAST. I'm Emma Jade. Maybe you or someone you know is looking for love. Although the amount of adults in the U.S. who are living with a spouse or partner is on the decline for the first time after a steady 20-year increase. According to Pew Research, about 43% of adults are unpartnered. Women are more likely than men to be without a partner. 86% of adults from 18 to 24 years old don't have a partner. Far more than among 25 to 39-year-olds. That's at about 42%. But finding that partner feels sometimes impossible. Between dating, online dating, swiping, texting, not texting, it's a lot and it's overwhelming. Enter matchmakers, and a very famous one at that. From the hit Netflix show Jewish Matchmaking, I got to sit down with Eliza Ben Shalom. She's a matchmaker whose life mission is to find love for everyone. And I was very surprised by some of her advice, things I've never even thought of when trying to matchmake my younger brother. I wonder if you'll be surprised too. But she doesn't just give us advice about finding love, also some advice on how to keep it. Am thrilled to be talking to you because I just soaked in every single episode of you on Netflix. I have loved watching you navigate these different personalities, these different relationships. When you are a matchmaker and doing what you do, what is the most common thing that you find people who are looking for a partner want?
Ooh, what do they want? They want somebody who, in theory, like people talk about opposites, but they actually want somebody who wants what they want, who enjoys what they enjoy, so they can do these things together and live their life together. A lot of people talk about like, you can do your thing and I'll do mine, and then we can come together. But it's not what people really want. They really want this shared vision. And it's not that they want like a twin or a copy of themselves, but they want somebody who feels like home, who feels comfortable to them, who like really makes sense.
When someone comes to a matchmaker and probably lands with you, it almost feels like you get them when they've kind of run out of hope.
It often happens that way. It
Mm.
often happens that they are kind of at the end of their rope. They are like they're burnt out. They probably need a dating detox and they need to go through a process of healing. I do actually have a dating detox, just to tell you,
Funny
because
enough, yeah.
it's so ridiculously common. It's starting actually in March 9th, but we have a whole program where we take people from this place of being brokenhearted, because in dating, you succeed by failing every single time, except when you get married. You are
Oh,
literally supposed to get it wrong every time.
that is so, I have never thought of it that way.
So you think that success is finding your person.
Yeah.
Success is finding a date. You get a date and you get yourself on a date, you're successful. It's not your person, successful, great. The whole goal of dating is clarity. If you have clarity and you know that it's not the one, that's perfect. That's ideal. Who wants to marry the wrong person? You've identified or they've identified we're not for each other. Thank you very much. Move on. Rejection is God's protection. That's one of the chapters in the book.
Oh
And like,
gosh, I love that.
thank you. Next. And that's
Yeah.
okay. But I think a true failure is not dating, not showing up. Like if you were playing a sports game, then, you'd show up. What's a failure? Well, not showing up. Losing isn't a failure. Losing is one of the possibilities. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. In dating, you literally win by not marrying the wrong person every single time, which basically means 99% of the time you say no, 1% you say yes. Well, it's your person. And then everybody's all excited.
I that shift right there is why you do what you do, honestly. And how did you get into matchmaking? Because it seems like you were born to do this.
It's so funny. It feels that way. I think
Yeah.
so many matchmakers would tell you it's a calling.
Yeah.
Like if you asked a handful of matchmakers, everybody would say like, I feel drawn to do
Mm.
this. So I remember being young, and the first like attempt at matchmaking was trying to set my brother up with my girlfriend and go to the dance at camp. That was like my very first failed experience. I did try to set him up later on. That was also failed. I tried to set up a girlfriend in university, and then they did get married, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is like amazing. Like, this is the best thing ever. And I didn't realize it until I got married. I had two kids. I was at home, and I was like, I just need to like do something with life, but I don't want to like work. I want to be home with my family and my kids, but I want to, I don't know, have some adult interaction instead of like just like all day, which I love. I love children, love, love, love. But a girlfriend of mine is like, I'm a matchmaker. I'm on an online dating site. You could try that. And I was like, that's, yes, that's so fascinating. Like, I want to try that. And I got into it, and I fell in love. I love the coaching piece, the thinking, the feeling, the head, the heart, soulmate clarity, like how you know if this is the one or if you should be done. That is like, that's my absolute favorite part of the entire
Okay,
process.
well, I want to dive into that because I feel like with social media and with swiping, it is so impossible to think like, oh, I can commit to this person because guess what? There's 15 others in that lineup on your social media page that you could just keep going. It always seems like the grass is always greener. So, what is that clarity that people really need to look for? How do we find that clarity when there's so many distractions?
There are so many distractions. So I tell people that it's not normal to actually connect with somebody, right? You think like it's no big deal. You see somebody, they look amazing. You're like, ooh, how many times have you been on a first date and been like, ugh, like you are nothing like your photo. I liked your face. Don't open your mouth, like you just. So I think that we have to realize when we have somebody in front of us, and sometimes it's just working, like it's almost easy. Like it just, we get along, there's a relationship, there's a friendship, there's a companionship, there's something that exists between us. And a lot of people are like, but how do I know if it's the one?
Still to come right here on Momcast. If you've played matchmaker for friends or family in your life, Aliza has some must-hear advice for you. But we also dive into relationships. I mean, she's been married for 22 years. She's got 5 kids. What she says we should all be doing right now if we're already in a relationship. That's ahead right here on Momcast.
When we have somebody in front of us, and sometimes it's just working, like it's almost easy, like it just, we get along, there's a relationship, there's a friendship, there's a companionship, there's something that exists between us. And a lot of people are like, but how do I know if it's the one? And I'm like, well, do you have any problems? They're like, yeah, but like we work it out. I'm like, do you have any red flags? And like, no, not really. And I was like, yeah, it's the one. And they're like, but how do you know? And I was like, I want to tell you, it does not get better than this. You have a friend, you have a relationship, you have something that works. When you fall down, you can pick each other up and your relationship can continue. That is a gift from God. That is incredible. And it's not so common. It's actually very uncommon for it to just seem to keep working. What's better? Like, is it more exciting? Yeah, you want to date and have the thrills of highs and lows. You can have exciting, but you can't have a relationship. Like a normal relationship goes through highs and lows. And then we also have like just a normal relationship. I like you. I love you. Today I don't like you, but I'll still stick with you. Like that's just how it goes.
What are some of the biggest misconceptions that come with matchmaking? Because I feel like some people like, you know what, maybe I know I can do this myself. Is it ego? Is it pride? What is it?
I don't mind when people do it themselves. I think that everybody should be their own matchmaker and matchmake other people. But the biggest problem is they think that when you know, you'll know. It's like lightning will strike you and you will just, oh my gosh, it's my person. I'm in love. And you're like, okay. So like, like Chuck Disney dating. It's like not for real. That's a movie. And real life works where sometimes you might be struck. Sometimes you might feel that, or you might have a friend who had that amazing experience. And that's rare, not normal. What's normal is to have what I would call a slow grow, to have a high quality human, to have somebody that you just spend time with and then you just keep spending time with. And it's working and then it just keeps working. That's what's so much more normal in a dating process. And the myth of dating is like when you know you'll know. It's just, aha, I will have a moment, a light bulb will go off in my head and I'll go, you're the one. And if I don't know, then it must be a no, and I must turn them down. And that's the literal opposite of what you're supposed to be doing. It's literally date them till you hate them. If it's not a no, it's a yes for another date.
Okay, that is, I talked to my brother. I have a brother who is so wonderful and amazing. And I'm the type that's like, I got to get him married, because he wants to have kids and he wants all these things. But if one thing goes wrong, he's done. He's out.
Right.
Date
Yeah.
him till you hate him.
That's it. If you don't hate them, it's a good human for you. You could still go out. If you're like, I'm never waking up to that face, like, no way. Okay, fine. So say no. You can walk away. But if you're like, I mean, it's okay. I don't know if they're my person. Great. I don't know if you're their person either. And you can't figure out if they're your person by going home and thinking about it. You actually have to go out on dates over and over and over again. That's how you gain clarity. It's over the course of time and over the course of dating that you will have the aha moment, not sitting in your bedroom just like rehashing the relationship and playing it out 47 times. Like, just go on another date. Does it work?
Listen, what you're saying sounds so simple and so reasonable, but we tend to make it so complicated. Why?
Yeah, I don't know, because I like to simplify life. I have to tell you. Like, I am all about like trimming the fat and cutting things down so that we have easy concepts, things that are digestible, things that actually make real logical sense and not just I feel connected. Oh, my favorite line. I feel so connected. Good. Tomorrow when you wake up and you don't feel so connected, what are you going to do? Dump them? We
What are
had a
you
bad
gonna do?
day.
Yes.
I mean, your feelings are really, I'm so sorry. They're unreliable. Our feelings are bonkers. One day I love you and the next day I hate you and still I'm gonna date you. Like, we can't rely only on our feelings. There should be a feeling that exists. It should be more positive than negative. But we can't gauge our entire relationship on I feel like this is the one. You have to know that this is the one. Our values are in alignment. Our personalities match. We've got some banter. We've got some play. That works. The fears, the things that are deep within me, you do not trigger them to a high degree that makes me crazy. And all of those little bothers, like the ick, okay, it's like ick, but not like ick, where it's like, ugh, I don't like that. It's just like, not my favorite trait about you, but like, I'll suck it up and deal.
Love this so much. I feel like everyone needs to hear this. It's so brilliant. Here's something that's a little tricky, I think, especially for women, is that we kind of get lost in those games because we feel like we want the men need to come after us. But what if I like a guy after a first date? Are there rules? Like who's supposed to set up the next date? What if he doesn't respond in a couple days? How do you navigate that where it's start to get a little busy with the games and the playing hard to get and
Yeah, so games are a thing, and I think every generation has had its rules, so to speak.
Mhm.
Modern day, if you don't ask him out, some other woman probably will.
Hmm.
So I'm not opposed to a woman saying, like, had a nice time. I'd love to see you. Tuesday, hey, you wanna, and then fill in the blank, you know, grab a beer, hang out at so and so, like have a reason or have something to timestamp it. If he doesn't respond, you can wait, right? You put it out there, you put out your bid. Now we have to wait for him to respond. If he responds like, "Oh, I don't know, my schedule, whatever." Not super impressed. Like, you made an effort. Guys get rejected all the time because they often will be doing the bidding so much more than women will. So if he's not responsive to that, let it be. Maybe he's busy. Maybe he's not accidentally, but dating two people at the same time. Maybe he has a work trip. Maybe there's a family crisis. Like, we don't know. There's lots of made up stories of things that could be happening in his life. If he's not responsive, don't be emotionally reactive. Let it sit. He might come back in 2 weeks and he might say, "Hey, I'm so sorry. I had a crazy deadline. I was completely overwhelmed. All I could do was think about that. I would love to go out. How's, Thursday?" And a lot of women are like, "Oh, you didn't get back to me in
Yeah.
time." Like, no, wrong game. You're playing the wrong game. You have to understand life happens. If he's responsive, you can be responsive. So, like, don't emotionally get tied to a yes or a no. Put the bid out there, see what happens. If it's positive, great, you go out. If nothing happens, you don't have to chase him. You can just let it be for the minute and then see if anything comes back. If you want in 3 weeks' time to message back, because again, something's relevant. You talked about.
The conversation continues right here on MomCast. Okay, this might surprise you, but why Aliza says love doesn't matter. That's ahead on MomCast with the Jewish matchmaker.
Like, there is a balance to this. I'm putting a bid out there, I'm putting an invitation out there, and you should be responsive. If somebody's not engaged, not interested, they might be too busy or they might not be serious about looking for love.
What's your advice to moms and to like siblings who have someone that they want their whatever to date, or they want their son to date or their daughter to date? What can we do to, I mean, not push them, but get them excited about dating, get them going again?
Right, lovingly nudge them.
Yeah.
So, okay, so I believe that not everyone's a matchmaker, but anyone can make a match. That means you who are looking out for your brother, sister, daughter, son, anybody, mother, right? We've got all generations up and down. Nobody ages out of love. Everybody wants to find somebody. So I wouldn't put the pressure on them to nudge them. I would look for people in your life or network with people to talk. There's an amazing match. A woman who was in her 90s was talking to another woman in her 90s, and the son of this one and the daughter of that one. She goes, "Oh, we should fix them up." Can I tell you? They're dating for like 6 months. It's the best story. And she didn't even want to date him because she was like, maybe he's not exactly my look. And then she's like, date him till you hate him. I don't hate him. He's actually a great guy. 6 months later, they're in an amazing relationship made by the two mothers.
Stop
Okay?
it.
Anyone can make a match. Anyone. And everyone should make an effort to make a match. It should be everybody's hobby. Like, why are we walking around the world just doing other stuff? Like, we're sitting there scrolling for hours. So scroll with a purpose, network, talk to somebody, meet somebody, and see if there's somebody that you can make an introduction. Again, you're going to get turned down by your family and friends 99% of the time. They're not my look, not my personality. I don't like their photo. What? Fine. You tried. Your only job was to try. Your job wasn't to succeed. Your job was to make an effort. You made an effort? Great. What happens? Out of your control, right? That's from above. And if a match is meant to happen, it will happen. But if you don't make an effort, so how do like I can't be the only one doing matchmaking, and it can't just be me and my colleagues or my team. Like, we need the whole world to jump on board. Everybody wants to find love. And I think it's a communal responsibility for us to make introductions. And then you let people take it from there. It's not your full-time job to like match them and follow through. Make an introduction, make a match suggestion, see if you can get a yes.
What's your advice for those who are already in relationships, who are already, in love? They found their person. How do we keep it going? How do we keep it interesting? How do we stay in that space of like love, respect, everything?
Okay. So this to me is really important because you guys and us, we are role models. I've been married for 22 years. We have 5 children, and I walk around talking about dating, love, and marriage all the time. Like, my kids know you're not dating unless you're dating for marriage. So I don't care if you're 18 or you're 20, it makes no difference. If you are dating, it's for marriage. There's no just like having fun. And I believe that in order to stay in love, we have to build our relationship. And the way to do that is through giving. In Judaism, the word for love is ahava. And in Hebrew, ahava, the root of love is to give. It means to give, which is literally the recipe for how to build the relationship. It's not what can I get from you? What are you going to give me today? What do I need? It's what can I give to the relationship? Not to you. Yes, you, but to the relationship, because there's me and there's you. And then there's this little space in between us, which is our relationship. And that's the thing that has to be nurtured. I'll take care of me. You also take care of you. We'll take care of each other, but even more so, we have to nurture the relationship. I believe in date nights. You need to be having a date night really every week. If you have young children, you can do every other week, but you need to make time. My husband and I do double date nights. We invite another couple out and we're like, we go out, we have dinner. We even like, like you go to some restaurants and they have like paper napkins. We bring our own napkins. We have like cloth napkins. Like we have a whole shtick. It's really fun, but you have to keep the energy alive. Like, why did you come together as a couple? What do you enjoy doing? What's a future project that you want to be working towards? And give to your relationship so that you grow it. Again, kids, whether you have them, they're in the house, they're not in the house, whatever, they're please God they should leave. It's going to be about you. What is your relationship and what do you need to do to go from where you are today to in 5 years looking back and going, oh, we had some good times. Fill in the blanks. What were those things that you did to have those good times?
Okay, talk to me about Matchmaker, this new book that you have coming out. Why do we need this more than ever?
You need this book more than ever because singles need to find their own match. Other people need the wisdom to know how to set up their friends and family. And people are doing it. It's not that you're doing it wrong, you're just making it so much harder than it needs to be. Dating apps are actually not a problem. I am pro dating apps, but it turns you into your own matchmaker. So all I want to do is download my brain and tell you, date like this, use the system to find a match, but use my system to keep a match. And that's what this book is all about.
And if it's me, if I'm the one who's going out on these dates or whatever it is, what is something that I really need to be dialed into when I'm looking for a partner?
I think one of the biggest challenges is that there are red flags that come up in a relationship, and people will stick in it too long because of whatever. Maybe it's infatuation. I like how I feel when I'm with you, but there's usually a deal breaker there. Just for example, I've had couples, one wants to have kids, the other one doesn't. They've been together for 2 years. Why? Why?
Mhm.
Not acceptable. Either you want to have kids, so you both decide, or you don't, so you both agree, or you agree to disagree and you go, I want something that you don't. I love you, but love doesn't matter, and love's not enough to overcome our values. We have different life goals and we have a different path, and therefore we can't do this together. Sorry, I know that some people are going to be like screaming at me, like, love doesn't matter. What do you mean love
Yeah.
doesn't matter? It's love is irrelevant. It's not that it doesn't matter. It's just that it's irrelevant if you have a values or a needs conflict.
Lisa, I could talk to you for 100 more minutes. Oh my gosh. And I can't wait to read this book because I feel like we'll just get even more information. But you, you just need to talk to every single person on the planet.
Yes, please.
Yes. Is there another season coming out, by the way?
Not at the moment, but there are other things that are in the works. So
Okay.
follow me. Stay tuned for good
Okay.
things.
Done. I can't wait. Eliza, Matchmaker, coming out. When does that officially come out?
It's here.
It's
It is
here. Oh,
here.
we can get it now.
You can get it right now. You can grab it on
Done.
Amazon or wherever you love to buy books.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time. Your insight is honestly like, I feel like I should pay you for this interview because this was so fantastic.